It is quite difficult to define what a yokai is. In the most basic terms, they are demons that inhabit the islands of Japan. But if you peer deeper, the world of yokai includes not just demons but ghosts, spirits, gods, animals, and it does not just cover entities but strange phenomenon as well. It is a term that is pretty hard to describe in any other language other than its native tongue. To put it simply, yokai are strange supernatural creatures and phenomenon from Japanese folklore. So it won't be a perfect yokai video without the inclusion of the most famous yokai of all, Kappa. Kappa is famous and worthy of the fame that they get because it is one of the most fleshed out yokai. They have a wide range of personalities and colorful characters. On top of that, a unique appearance as well. It is a short humanoid imp which bears some resemblances to a frog and a turtle. Their skin is green in color, having webbed hands and feet, a beak, 3 anuses, and a tortoise shell on its back. One other unique feature of Kappa is the water-filled depression, like a small petri dish on top of its head. Their habitat are ponds, rivers, swamp, and such, but sometimes they will invade man-made ponds and irrigation channels of paddy fields. Usually they are not aggressive, however, they like to pull prank on unsuspecting humans. They have a very strong fondness of cucumber. They like to sumo wrestle and will sometimes challenge humans to a sumo wrestle. They are known to help drowning children, while on the other hand, they are known to ambush human, fist a person's anus with its slimy hands, and literally rip out their soul. Or in Japanese, it is called a hitodama, if I'm not mistaken. While some tales show them cooperating with humans, other portrayals show them in a darker manner. They will capture humans, murder and dismember them, then eat them. They were also shown to kidnap children and rape women. Whenever a kappa is on land, their petri dish depression on their head is filled with water. However, when the water inside this dish is spilled or dried out, the kappa will lose its strength and become vulnerable. So, if you find yourself encountering a kappa on its bad day, you could bow to the kappa. The kappa will bow back out of courtesy. So the kappa will unintentionally spill the water in its dish, making it weak and vulnerable. So that is your cue to run away. Another alternative of repelling a kappa is to rip out a fat fart at it. Snow White, or sometimes jet black hair that flows loosely from her head, pale white skin, beautiful, almost ethereal features, and seem to be wearing an all-white kimono. I am sure you have seen this yokai popping up here and there in anime and such. Yuki Onna is undoubtedly one of the most famous yokai as well, although in contrast with the kappa, it was not documented as much. Yuki Onna is said to be the spirit of the snow, possessing supernatural powers such as having the ability to conjure blizzards, disappear at will, blow chilling winds that can freeze people to death, and also be able to suck up a person's soul through their mouth. So, the legends of Yuki Onna are particularly famous in the northern parts of Japan, although her stories and legends were brought down to all parts of Japan. As such, there are many variations and different interpretations of Yuki Onna. One story states that Yuki Onna goes house to house asking for water. If you give her hot water, she melts. However, if you give her cold water, she will grow larger and stronger. In another version, she is a moon princess who came to Earth long ago and is unable to return home. She wanders through snowy nights longing for her home in the sky. Yuki Onna Tales from Niigata Prefecture portrays Yuki Onna as soul-sucking demoness, where she freezes her victim then proceeds to suck their souls from their mouth. It is said that she prefers the souls of children. However, the most famous and trademark story of Yuki Onna originates from Love Sadio Hearn's Kwaidan, Stories and Studies of Strange Things, written in 1904. In this, the story goes somewhat like this. A woodcutter out in the mountains was caught up in a snowstorm. So, he sought shelter and found an abandoned hut. There, he waits for the storm to cease. While waiting, he fell asleep. And suddenly, he felt like as if a blizzard was happening inside the hut itself. He woke up and was shocked to see a woman standing over him. Her skin was snow white. She wore an all-white attire. Her face is absurdly beautiful, yet something about her eyes are horrifying to look at. She spoke to him, stating that her intention is to kill him. However, after seeing his young and handsome face, she decided to let him go. However, with a condition. She made him promise to never tell a soul about this encounter, or else she will kill him for real. Then after this, she disappears, and with her the snowstorm outside. Feeling shaken, the woodcutter rushes home. Several years passed. The woodcutter met a beautiful woman traveler. They got to know each other and they ended up married together. Their marriage was a happy one. They spent time together and had children together. Many children. They had like 10 children. Even with all that, the woman strangely does not seem to itch at all. One day while the couple were relaxing, the woodcutter saw his wife's face. Then he told the wife, saying that her face reminds the Yuki Onna encounter he had several years ago, although he is not sure if he was dreaming of that encounter or not. Suddenly the wife burst. Her calm demeanor goes out the window and her face horrifying to look at, as she rushes to the husband as if to kill him. She shrieked, saying that she was the Yuki Onna he had encountered, and she should kill him for breaking the promise. Suddenly, she remembered her children and how cruel it is to kill their father. Then she gave the woodcutter a third chance. She made him promise to take care of their children as best as he could, and if she ever hears that their children are treated poorly, she would absolutely kill him. With that, she disappears with a sorrowful cry. The husband, now left alone, in a state of confusion and sadness. Nowadays, Yuki Onna is one of the more famous yokai for the popular media to pick up and portray. We have the stunningly beautiful boss from Ningyo 1, and my favorite portrayal, the more modern take and also lovable Yuki Onna from the Inspector anime. One of Japan's oldest yokai and also one of the most famous ones, especially today. The first recorded Kitsune appeared in Japan's second oldest book, Nihon Shoki, written in 720. This book records a shooting star phenomenon, where it names this phenomenon as Amatsu Kitsune or Celestial Fox. Foxes are native to Japan, and throughout history they have a special connection with humans there. So it is no surprise how countless folklore and mythologies sprang from these furry creatures. It is said that much of the stories and myths of Kitsune came from China and Korea. In both of these countries, fox spirits are portrayed as pure evil entities. However, when it comes to Kitsune legends, the Japan portrayed them as more layered and complex. One story tells of how a Kitsune shapeshifts to become a woman and marrying a man and starting families together. Some stories are somewhat the same as its origins, portraying them as cunning, mischievous trickster to downright evil spirit. The most famous example of an evil Kitsune is Tamamo No Mae. So there are different moods, as I can say. Kitsune stories can be romantic, an epic mythology, and so on. With the presence of Shinto belief, Kitsune were slowly merged with the kami Inari Okami, where these Kitsune acted as messengers for the goddess Inari, where it is said that Inari first arrived in Japan riding a magnificent white fox. Inari is said to be the goddess of rice, fertility, tea, sake, and agriculture. Things that pretty much are the foundation of life for Japanese people. So because of this, there are countless Kitsune shrines all around the country, so that people can pray for good harvests. You might see Kitsune portrayed as having multiple tails. Well, this is because the tail represents the power level of a Kitsune and how long it lives. The longer the fox lives, the stronger it becomes, and slowly it will grow a new tail. It is said that the most powerful Kitsunes are the ones with 9 tails. as 9 tails is the maximum amount a kitsune can grow. To achieve 9 tails, they have to live for over 1,000 years. One of the most famous kitsune is the dreaded Tamamo No Mae, one of the 3 great evils of Japan, said to be the most powerful kitsune to ever live, having 9 tails and the ability to shapeshift. She is evil, cunning, and lusting for power. It is said that she came from China, where she learned magical arts and became a powerful sorceress. And here also it is said that she ascended to 9 tails. Using her cunning wits and charm, she successfully influenced the Chinese Empire. During the Shang dynasty, she was known as Daji, one of the emperor's concubines and his most favorite. Daji was a depraved woman, inventing new and more gruesome torture methods, and also would hold perverted ceremonies as to destroy the morality of the people and nobles. Through the emperor's favoritism, she brought the fall of the Shang dynasty. She successfully escaped China and went to India around the 1046 BCE. Here, she did the same thing again. Then, she fled back to China, this time possessing Bao Si, concubine of King Yao of the Zhao dynasty. This time, she was exposed and fled from China, and finally arrived in Japan. Here, she manifested as Tamamo No Mae, and became the courtesan of Emperor Toba during the Heian period. After Toba fell ill, an Onmyoji sorcerer by the name Abe no Yasuchika exposed her. She was hunted down and caught at the plains of Nasu. It is said that in 1653, her spirit was trapped in a stone called Sesho Seki, and whoever touches it will die immediately. In 2022, however, the stone that is said to imprison her split into 2, meaning she is now free, and probably scheming for her next grand plan. Much like the kitsune, Tanuki is a real animal as well as a yokai. Tanuki are raccoon dogs native to Japan. Also like the kitsune, being as prevalent as they are in Japan, it is no surprise that countless legends and tales of Tanuki spirits sprang up. Again, similar to kitsune, they have the ability to shapeshift. Furthermore, it is said that their ability to shapeshift is more advanced than that of a kitsune. They can change to a wider variety of things: humans, animals, other yokais, and as well as inanimate objects. They are known to enjoy partying and chilling around, and they are usually portrayed as benevolent. However, they sometimes would like to dabble in the arts of pranking humans. One other power that they have is the ability to make you see what they want you to see. For example, they will disguise themselves as a monk and will offer you money. However, when you try to spend the money later on, you find out that the money is now a bunch of dried leaves, or even worse, animal poop. One other distinct feature of this yokai is its super huge, super flexible scrotum. This part of their body was inspired by a goldsmith back in the day, where they would use tanuki pelts for the process of hammering gold nuggets into leaves. The tanuki with the big scrotum flung over their back looks like travelers, carrying a huge sack. Apart from their mischievousness, tanuki has become an auspicious yokai and can bring luck to you. Because of this, you can find tanuki statues in front of establishments, temples, businesses, and homes all over Japan. The quintessential yokai. Oni has been translated to demon or ogre, but those terms do not fully encapsulate the nature of Oni. They are often portrayed as big, bulky humanoids with colorful skin tones ranging from red to blue to green. They have fierce and horrifying expressions on their faces, bearing sharp fangs and horns protruding from their head. They are usually portrayed as topless, wearing only a tiger-striped loincloth, iron rings around their ankles and wrists, and as well as portrayed as holding a huge spiked club called kanabo. As reflected from their appearance, they are strong, bloodthirsty, and most of the time downright evil. However, later depictions explore wider ranges of the Oni lifestyle. This one portrays an Oni writing on a ledger book, probably painted in a more humorous light. Along the line, portrayals of Oni shift and twist, starting as a force of evil that can bring down misfortune and death, the symbol of blasphemy towards the teachings of Buddha, to now where Oni has mingled into a more lewd side of the otaku media. Shuten Doji. When it comes to a villain figure in Japanese folklore, none is more famous than Shuten Doji, the drunken Oni. A legendary ogre leader, it is said that he wasn't always an ogre or Oni. Way back then, he was a human, a trainee monk, but he did not have the qualities of being a monk. He likes to let himself enjoy the worldly pleasures such as drinking and partying. One day, a religious festival was held at the temple. Intoxicated, he decided to play pranks on visitors and fellow monks. He wore an Oni mask and would hide before jumping on unsuspecting people and scare them. After the prank session ended, he tried to remove the mask but he couldn't. It has fused to its face. Ashamed and scared, he flees to the woods and isolates himself. He lived in hiding at the outskirts of Kyoto. He survives by stealing food and alcohol from villagers. His misdeeds caught the attention of bandits and criminals alike, who looked up to him and eventually followed him. Not long, he has his own clan of criminals, and his followers also slowly starts to change to lesser Onis as well. So as time goes on, his hatred towards humans grew with each day, and soon his misdeeds turned from robbery to murders and kidnapping. He established a base at Mount Oe. There, they held parties and banquets where they would eat and torture people they kidnapped. They would let out multiple attacks throughout Kyoto, rampaging and pillaging all they could see. The legendary heroic samurai Minamoto no Yorimitsu and his band of heroes stood up to face the threat. They snuck into Shuten Doji's base, disguising themselves as priests. As they enter, they behold a horrifying scene of Onis indulging in human flesh and blood. But since they are in disguise, they could not do anything but watch. They will wait until all of the Onis, including Shuten Doji, to sleep after a night of partying. They then will snuck and killed the sleeping Onis one by one. Yorimitsu then chopped off Shuten Doji's head, but disturbingly, the head started to bite at Yorimitsu. The head started to bite at Yorimitsu's helmet. The bite was so strong that its teeth pierced the armor, and the head stuck to the helmet. So, fast forward to today, it is said that the head is buried somewhere at the Oinosaka mountain pass. Meaning monster cat or changing cat. Cats, like foxes and tanukis, are very much prevalent in Japan and are a part of life there. Bakeneko are cats that live unnaturally long lives for a cat. It is said that when a cat lives past 12 to 13 years, the cat will gain supernatural power and become bakemono. It is because of this belief that in some regions in Japan, people will kill their pet cat when the cat reaches around 7 years old, as to not let them become a bakeneko. When a cat becomes a bakeneko, it can put the owner in danger due to its aggressive and malevolent nature. One of the telltale signs of a cat slowly turning to bakeneko is its tail growing to absurd length. When a cat becomes a bakeneko, they are able to stand on their hind legs and speak like humans do. They are known to party and dance around with other bakenekos. Period artists often depict them dancing with towels on their head. It is said that bakemonos are known to linger around the pleasure district, especially around the famous Yoshiwara of Edo. Rumors say that some courtesans of the Yoshiwara were actually transformed bakenekos. I also forgot to mention that they also have the ability to shapeshift as well, much like the Tanuki and Kitsune. There is a story of a cat changing to a bakeneko not from old age but from drinking humans' blood. The story goes, a married couple had a pet cat. One day, the husband was murdered by a lord just because the husband beat the lord in a game of Go. The dead man's widow cried and poured her sorrow onto the cat. She could not process the sadness any longer, and not long, she committed suicide. Their pet cat drinks the blood of the widow from her corpse. Then the cat transformed into Bakeneko. Vengeance and anger filled its heart. The cat sought revenge for its former masters, but it was eventually slain by the samurai Komori Hanzaemon. Another major feline yokai, the word Nekomata means forked cat. Bakeneko are said to be aggressive and malicious, however not all are evil. Some do like the company of humans. Same could not be said for Nekomata. Nekomata are pure evil in nature. Much like Bakeneko, cats transform to Nekomata after living long lives. However, only selected cats can become Nekomata. It is said that only the largest, longest tail and smartest cat can become Nekomata. They will grow a new tail when the transformation is complete. Thus the name forked cat. They can conjure up fireballs, cause disasters, control human corpses, meaning they possess necromantical powers, as well as they can use their intelligence to blackmail and enslave people. They can also grow in size, becoming as big as a leopard, and able to prey on larger animals, and of course, humans as well. The Japanese yokai pantheon also has a fair share of half-women, half-animal monsters. One of them is the alluring yet deadly Jorogumo, the spider bride or the spider harlot. They are evil creatures that prey on men by changing to a beautiful woman to lure and put them off guard. The orb spiders called Joro spiders are said to be named after the yokai and not the other way around. Jorogumo first appeared during the Edo period. One earliest tale of Jorogumo tells a tale of a samurai who went to rest at an abandoned temple at night after a long day of traveling. While he was resting, suddenly a young woman approached him, holding a child. The young woman put the child down and commanded the child to go and hug your long-lost father. The samurai was shocked and confused as to who this girl was, and did not recall ever meeting her before. Despite this weird and sudden appearance of this woman, he stayed calm and was able to see past the illusion. Without hesitation, he brings out his sword from its sheath and slices at the woman, severely injuring her. The woman, screaming, grabbed her child and ran away. When morning comes, he searches around the temple, and on top of the temple's roof, there lies the corpse of a giant spider. While some stories say that there are spiders able to shapeshift, Toriyama Sekien merges the idea of spider and bride and made a half-woman, half-spider looking entity, which I believe is much cooler than just a spider that can shapeshift. The spider woman seems to be commanding smaller spiders that seem to breathe fire. Other portrayals show them as somewhat divine-like being. They say that they are guardians of waterfalls. Joren Falls in Shizuoka is said to be one of the waterfalls that is guarded by a Jorogumo. Thus, people erect shrines to appease her spirit. In this version, they don't usually kill people, but they will hunt down a person who trespasses or defiles their secret waterfalls. Tsuchigumo means earth spider, which is fitting since it is said that this enormous spider lives underground, inside caves or burrows that they made. In the tale of Haiki, or Haiki Monogatari, tells a story of how a Tsuchigumo was defeated by Minamoto no Yorimitsu. When the samurai was gravely ill, no monk's prayer could cure it. For 30 days he was tormented by this strange fever. One day, a tall monk approached him and attempted to tie him to his bed with a rope. Using all his strength, Yorimitsu reaches for his sword and strikes at the unknown monk. The monk disappears, however, a trail of blood on the floor can be seen. Yorimitsu's loyal allies from the Four Heavenly King, also known as Shiten, followed the blood trail that leads them to a cave. There, they encountered a huge spider. Realizing that this must be the cause of Yorimitsu's illness, they killed the creature. After all of this ordeal, Yorimitsu renamed his sword Kumogiri, which means Spider Slayer. Hanya, or demoness. Hanya is a Japanese term, originated from Sanskrit word prajna, translated as wisdom. The word Hanya is also used to describe a female demon, although another name for a female demon is Kijo. This demoness originates from No theatre, which is performed by actors wearing wooden masks. The mask called Hanya is used for the role of demonic women. Usually these women are portrayed as jealous and scorn-filled women who wants to commit heinous acts on people. The characteristics of Hanya can be seen on the mask. There are two sharp horns protruding from its head. It has big eyes and a sinister smirking expression. The name Hanya started to be associated with demoness was from the play Aoi no Ue. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And it is based on the tale of Genji, or also known as Genji Monogatari. In the play, Lady Aoi is possessed by Lady Rakujo's jealous spirit. Lady Aoi reads the Hanya Kyo Sutra to expel the demonic entity. In the Chronicle of Great Peace, also known as Taiheki, from the late 14th century, it includes a story of Lord Omori Hikoshichi Morinaga and his encounter with a demoness. In the story, he comes across a woman. He offers to carry her over a stream as she is struggling to cross it. As he is carrying her on his back through the stream, he sees her reflection in the water and he saw that she is a demoness in disguise. So, without hesitation, he managed to kill her before she kills him. Next up is Hashihime, meaning the Bridge Princess or the Bridge Princess of Uji, or the Tale of Ushi no Toki Mairi, or the Shrine Visit at the Hour of the Ox. The story tells a tale of a woman who was heartbroken and mad for her husband's betrayal and infidelity. So, she visited the Kifune Shrine or the Kifune Jinja during the Hour of the Ox, driven by hate and anger. There, she prayed to the gods so that she would become a strong Oni, so that she can exact revenge on her husband. She did this every night for 7 nights. On the 7th night, the gods gave her an answer. They told her to bathe in the Uji River for 21 nights. If she do, she will be granted the form of an Oni capable of destroying her ex-husband. She was instructed to wear a white robe and tied her hair up to 5 horns. She painted her face white and placed an upturned trivet on her head and attached candles to each foot of the trivet. She lit a torch on both ends and placed it between its mouth. Then she immersed herself in the Uji River for 21 nights. As promised, by the 21st night, she was granted supernatural powers and became an Oni. In this form, she tried to exact revenge on her ex, but only to be thwarted by the greatest magician in Japan, Abe no Seimei. However, today, she has become a guardian spirit of such, for the Uji Bridge. It is said that newlyweds are not allowed to cross the bridge, as this will lead to Hashihime's spirit to be filled with jealousy and rage. She will rain down her wrath on the couple, causing misfortune and eventually breakups. So if you translate that word to English, it literally means pulley neck. So this yokai is also one of the most famous yokai in the Japanese yokai pantheon. The Rokurokubi are always portrayed as women. By day, they appear like a normal woman. However, during nighttime, when they are sleeping, the neck starts to stretch to insane length and the head starts to slither around, having a mind of its own. They like to do some stuff like licking lamps, lounging around, and smoke the kiseru pipe. Then, when morning comes, the neck retracts back to the body. The woman wakes up with no memories of what happened last night. Usually, the woman doesn't know that she is a Rokurokubi. So there are two variations on their origin. One variation said that Rokurokubi were once a normal woman, but they were cursed to become a yokai. Their curse comes from past misdeeds. However, some tales tells stories of husband committing sins. However, through some cruel divine justice system, the curse got to the wife instead. The second variation of the origin of this yokai says that they are born a fully fledged yokai. The more dangerous cousins of Rokurokubi. Instead of an elongated neck, Nukekubi's head is fully detached from her shoulder, and her head can fly and roam around further. They are dangerous in the sense that they are actually kind of like vampires, hunting humans and sucking their blood. They are far different from the more laid-back, pipe-smoking Rokurokubis. However, similar to Rokurokubis, the women who are afflicted with this curse do not know that they are Nukekubi. And when they sleep at night, their head will become detached from the neck and start to fly and seek for blood. One theory suggests that this curse comes from a severe case of sleepwalking, where instead of the body, the soul of the person detached itself from the body along with her head. Most of the time, if you notice, both Rokurokubi and Nukekubi are depicted as a courtesan, lounging or sleeping at the brothel. This is because when a family finds out that their daughter is one of the two yokais, they are filled with shame and will selfishly sell their daughters to prostitution. It is said that the cure for this curse is to feed the afflicted person with the liver of a white-haired dog. One other way to counter a Nukekubi is to hide the body of the person when their head is roaming around at night. When the head returns and could not find its body, it will slowly grow weak and die, killing the innocent person as well. So, usually people such as family members will not resort to this strategy when it comes to their daughter or even their mother of the family afflicted with Nukekubi curse. Ningyo, meaning human fish, which is basically a mermaid. However, Japanese mermaids are different from the bodacious half-woman, half-fish babes that we know from the Western world. Japanese mermaids, however, are more creepy to look at. Supposed Ningyo mummies in museums or enshrined in temples across the country show them resembling more of an ape-like aquatic creature. However, there are versions of this yokai resembling a bit closer to the Western mermaids. They have a beautiful face of a woman with neatly groomed and styled hair. Sometimes their hair is tied up like noble women, with golden hairpins and such. And mostly they have horns jutting from their scalp. But that is just it. From the neck down, they are straight up a fish. This version of Ningyos are portrayed as divine beings, messengers of the dragon god Ryujin. They are known to converse with humans, dropping prophecies of prosperous times as well as impending disaster. They are auspicious beings themselves. It is said that just by looking at a Ningyo can bring luck and prosperity to your life. Sometimes it is said that Ningyos will ask people to draw or sketch their form, so that when people share drawings of them, and when people look at the drawings, they too will have prosperous lives and be protected against any disasters. However, if one decides to incur their wrath, they can rain down their wrath in the form of earthquakes or giant tidal waves. Additionally, it is said that their meat, when consumed, can grant a person an extremely long life. But despite this, fishermen will not risk catching and killing a Ningyo because of reasons that I mentioned before. And also, killing a divine being is not a very good idea. Amabie is one such example of a prophetic Ningyo. Although it is more of a bird-fish hybrid creature than that of a human-fish hybrid creature. It is said that around May of 1846 in Higo province, the modern-day Kumamoto prefecture, strange glowing lights flashed in the sea every night. The reports grew concerning, and a government official was sent to investigate. During his investigation around the area of the sea where the strange lights were said to appear, suddenly up sprang a strange-looking creature from under the sea. It looks like a weird mixture of creatures combined into one, a combination of a bird and a fish. Its body is cylindrical, while its long hair flows majestically. For a creature like this, it has really pretty hair going on. It has a pair of peculiar diamond-shaped eyes, and it possessed 3 fins. It spoke to the officials, introducing itself, then dropping prophetic news to the official. It states that the country will experience good harvest for 6 years, but soon after a great plague will spread. It then urges the official to draw an illustration of itself so that it can be shared. And for those who look at the illustration, they will be protected from the impending plague. After all this, the creature sank back into the sea. Soon after, the illustration was printed in Kawaraban woodblock printed broadside and was spread all throughout Japan. However, as time went by, the legend of Amabie fell into obscurity. Not until its newfound popularity during the pandemic, around the year 2020, people started to find out about this yokai and its auspicious nature against plagues. They started to spread pictures of Amabie all throughout the social media. With the art of Amabie increasing, everyone puts their own unique taste and twist into depicting this beautiful yet weird yokai. Nurikabe, a wall-like yokai that has terrorized ancient Japan with its habit of blocking path or route of its victim, acting like an impenetrable and immovable wall. They are annoying and troublesome while at the same time harmless. Their appearance differs with each interpretation. Some portray them as literal walls with a face, while some other portrayals portray them to be more mythological looking animal. Nurikabe are invisible to the naked eye. They will mimic walls of building while their habitat is not just limited to urban areas. There were many tales of people encountering what seemed to be an invisible wall in their travels in the middle of the forest as well. The encounter is always filled with frustration as the victim could not progress forward, seeming to be stuck without any explanation. Even if you push or kick this invisible wall as hard as you can, it won't budge or move. One trick to get rid of Nurikabe is to poke or pinch at the wall's base, which is just above ground of where the invisible wall is. Why? I don't know actually. You probably pinch its butt or something. Feeling harassed, it probably runs away from you. The Nupeppo. The name Nupeppo is said to originate from a slang, Nuperi, which is a slang term used to call women who put too much makeup. The yokai is described and portrayed as a round blob of saggy flesh with limbs attached to it. It's saggy and folds of fats on its what seems to be its chest area shows hints of a face. Nupeppo has a strong odor, akin to the pungent odor of rotting corpse. So some believe that it is made out of rotting flesh from corpses. This theory is supported by their habitat of appearing and roaming around graveyards and dark alleyways. Furthermore, it is said that if a person were to eat a Nupeppo's flesh, their body will be healed of any disease and will be granted eternal youth. If you are brave enough to consume literally rotting flesh. Lady Osakabe, a timid, antisocial woman that some believed her to be a ghost, while some other believe her to be a very old fox. She lives in hiding in the Himeji Castle, a famous tourist spot in Japan. It is said that no mortals can ever see her, for when they do, they will die immediately. But there is a legend of the legendary swordsman Miyamoto Musashi's encounter with Lady Osakabe, where he tried to confront her in the Himeji Castle. When confronting her, he saw a fox demon fleeing to the top of the tower. Musashi then pursued the fox demon, and when he managed to reach the top, there he found a beautiful woman, Lady Osakabe herself. Musashi touched her, then suddenly several humanized foxes emanated from her. She was possessed by evil fox spirits, and touching her exorcised her. So this story portrays Lady Osakabe as being possessed by evil fox spirits. However, other portrayals shows Lady Osakabe as literally a fox spirit, an old fox spirit, such as Toriyama Sekien's portrayal of Lady Osakabe. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. I am currently working on volume 2 and it will be out soon, I hope. And also, yeah, thank you so much for watching again. And if you do enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to watch more videos discussing this kind of topic, this kind of subject, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Again, for the third time, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Goodbye.